Back to another episode of Gora The Explorer. This is episode 8, I think, and we're going to be speaking about the South Asian women's crisis that's going on, especially as a mum, during the summer. Every single summer, South Asian women have a crisis about how they're going to navigate everything that they got going on over the summer period. And it ends up resulting in people throwing the toys out of the pram, gaining the weight over the summer, deprioritizing their fitness, and ultimately going back to the baseline headaches before from where they were and where they wanted to get to. So I wanted to take you through what the process is that we help with our clients, but also most importantly, how you can move over this. If you have kids, this is going to be the most important thing for you, because it's normally the kids that sets out the tone, sets out the deviations, sets out the overwhelm, and sets out the time management processes that generally lead people astray. So let's make this super clear. If you're a South Asian woman with kids and you're about shitting yourself just as summer is coming about, and you are struggling to look at the priorities, the time management, the overwhelm, all the things that you have to do as well as working, it can be really, really frustrating, but also be really, really challenging to fit everything in. And most people that struggle with this will do one or two things. You have the people that have what we call a fixed mindset and those that have a growth mindset. Now, if you've not got a growth mindset, you'll be watching this video thinking, I'm one of these people that are getting overwhelmed and I don't know what to do with my fitness, when my kids are off, I don't know what to do with my time management, now that I have to do holidays, weddings, fuck this, all that type of stuff. And the growth mindset are people that look at things and become adaptable to the variables. So I'm going to teach you how to be adaptable to the summer, how to be adaptable to the kids being off, the time management, the priority ranking, so that you can still get in shape and still have summer and still have all of these things happen without there being a drop in each of those areas. And the most important thing is, if you are someone who has in the past, this summer I've got the kids off, or my priorities are getting on top of me, or fitness becomes on the back burner, you always have these habits. Everyone has these all or nothing mindsets, and they actually end up being damaging in the long term, because they can't think of multiple things at the same time and manage them, because it's harder to focus on multiple different things and manage them versus throwing a lot of things away and then just focusing on one thing, which is the biggest priority, which is the kids, the work, the stress, the thing that you've got right in front of your nose. But ultimately, it doesn't need to be that way. We help, South Asian women who have got kids or got wedding season to really manage these times by adding more logic into the process. Because when we're overwhelmed, when we're stressed, when our priorities, our routines have changed, the kids have been off, or we've got new schedules ahead of our weeks, and we're constantly reviewing our routine and changes to get things in, it can become looking like we don't have the time. We look like we don't have that place. It can become really overwhelming. And that's when emotion starts to kick in, and we start to deprioritize other things and prioritize other things, because we have in this fight or flight moment of like, oh my God, I can't focus on this. I need to focus on that. Oh my God. Whereas when you add logic to this, it's all about managing of expectations, management of time, management of priorities, and most importantly, having multiple ways to win. If you give up your diet during the summer because of your kids being off, it just shows you that you don't have a diet you can stick to for the rest of your life, which is then highlighting the problem of what you're doing with your nutrition and your training, or probably why you're falling off every single week, or not making that much progress. So when you highlight that your diet or what you're doing to get in shape is not flexible enough to have a change of priorities or a change of routine, it really highlights that the diet that you're on is not good enough for life. Now, a part of it also comes down to how you like to do things. Like most South Asian women, they potentially like to cook for their kids. They like to make fresh meals every single day. They like to do things at certain times. And when you have these preferences on a day-to-day basis, and then life and the times get flipped upside down by the kids being off in wedding season, you start trying to do things the way that you want to, and then realize that you don't have enough time to do everything. So then you don't adapt the time, you actually adapt what you do. So sometimes it's about finding new methods to do the same thing. So for example, some of my clients over the summer months, they train at home and they don't go to the gym because of the time management of getting their sessions in when they've got the kids at home. They take the kids for a walk in the mornings as opposed to going morning and evening. They choose to prepare food a few days in advance for the kids and themselves to make it easier, so that they're not always in the kitchen 24/7, 7 days a week. And most importantly, they also choose to eat out at weekends and actually plan ahead so they know where they're going and what they're doing with their children, to plan and pre-course their nutrition, to make sure that there's always a choice and always a solution. There's always a better thing to make up for as you go through that time. So it is one of those where everything has a strategy. Everything has a step-by-step process. It's just avoiding that step of thinking that you're overwhelmed, because once you, like you'll know as well as I do, is when you feel like the world's going to end, you feel like you're stressed, you feel like you're an idiot, you feel like you're not in a great space, you're not going to react very well to anything else. You're not going to react well to logic. You're not going to react to routines. You're not going to react to making better decisions for yourself, because you're going to be in that stress state of overwhelm, and nothing ever good comes from that position as well. So that's going to be really, really important. So looking at the easiest way to do that is like looking at your week. So if you look at your week, and let's say, for example, you block things into times, you look at time management, you've got to look at what do I need to do and what are my priorities? So, for example, everything from like the gym to your steps to the kids stuff to what time you're working, what time you got husband time, dad time, family time, wedding season, and then you forecasting the week ahead. Most people make the mistake, as like South Asian moms, make the mistake of not planning a week in ahead because they know that their week will change. But actually, you need a framework, you need a backbone to your week to be able to be flexible on top of your backbone. If you have no plan, no routine, that creates more overwhelm, more decisions, more mental fatigue. Whereas if you're right 70% of the time in your routine, you've got a lot more structure to lean off. So having the ability to just go, 70% of my week and then I'll adapt the rest of it is actually really, really important. And most people make that mistake, especially if the kids are going through different phases of life, whether they're teething or, they're going to school or, they're staying up later or going to bed earlier, different times of feedings, whatever the time, there's always a constant changing evolvement of the routine. And most people make the mistake of not making one because it's always evolving. But that's life. If you have a high flying job or you have kids or you have things going on constantly within your social circle, there'll always be this evolving schedule. And most people's overwhelm, most people's inability to prioritize all comes from all the way back to this level of routine, this level of structure, and this level of collective thinking around what you can do. Because once you can see the time blocks, you can have a more logical conversation about like how much time you have to train, what you can do from a nutrition perspective. Because if you don't think you have any time, you haven't looked at your routine, you haven't looked at your diary, no one can help you, no one can make a strategy, we can't even suggest anything for you. But you creating a routine where you're like, actually, I think I have 30 minutes in the morning to work out versus an hour that I used to have. I think I'll be able to do this type of food preparation or food cooking during the summer months whilst I've got the kids off. Then you can make better solutions and strategies. And some of them I would definitely recommend is like, if you're not already, which we would do with our clients, but some people might be different, is like, we actually encourage you to eat with the family too. So if you're making 3 dishes a night and you've got loads of priorities and loads of things on, just make one. Everyone gets one dish, the same dish, and you can learn how to have those food portions in the best way possible. And we've got plenty of guides. If you comment the word fat loss cheat sheet to one of my posts, you'll get our guide on the South Asian food cheat sheet that will help you have one meal with the rest of your family, so you don't have to make multiple meals. Like other ones are like non-prepared food as well. Like a lot of people want to make these big dishes, the chanas, the rajmans, these big staple dinners. But sometimes you just need something easy, fast, and implementable. And sometimes that comes at the cost of like yogurt, berries, cereal, or eggs on toast, which take 4 minutes to make. And choosing some of these variations over the stuff that you really like can save you time and get it done. And that's one of the things, sometimes it's practical versus optimal during the summer. When you have less time, you're more overwhelmed, you've got more stuff on, you need to find practical options, not the options that you're totally used to, that you like, because I guess it's about being done during that time period. And as well as that, because most people most South Asian mums look at the summer as like holding on for dear life, not as a fat loss phase. And some of that can be sparked by the wedding season and holidays and events that they go to. And then you look at, okay, well, if I've got back-to-back weekends, it would make sense not to diet because I'm not going to make any progress, even if I put hard work in. And that's where a lot of people make the mistake of not thinking that they can make progress in weeks where they have multiple social occasions. There's lots of people that we've helped in the past that have kept their social life very much in whiskeys. I drank champagne most weekends for my last cut, where I dropped 12 kilos in 6 weeks, my aggressive cut as well. And I was able to drink champagne every weekend to what I wanted to. And it's not, most people make the mistake that you can't have a social life and diet at the same time. But again, it's down to logic, down to strategy, and down to getting that unique challenge and that unique help, so that you can make the plans fit around your lifestyle. So I would definitely encourage you that you can make massive progress, even if you have 2 to 3 socials a week, and multiple weeks back to back. You just need to be organized and be structured in a way that you think, when you know that you're going to put effort in, that you're going to get some return on that. And it's about what you do during this whole 7 days, the whole 14 days, the whole 21 days, the whole 28 days that really determine the results. So in a 4-day cycle, you might have back-to-back stuff where they might be quite boozy, but you might have other social events that you might not really go that boozy on. It might just be like a little bit of food and maybe 1 glass of wine or something. So there's going to be variations of where, if you stay consistent, if you stay conscious of your decisions, if you make a plan over a 14-day period, you will be able to make progress. You just need to not give up the hope that you can make progress, because you're overwhelmed by the level of social events coming up. And it's more about a confidence thing. It's like, because you've never done it before in the past, most of them believe that the summer will, repeat out time and time again. It'll be, the kids will take priority. I won't get to the gym. I won't be able to do any training. My nutrition will go down the toilet because of our social occasions. And ultimately, when I speak to my clients, it's like, this is what you hired me for. This is what the coaching is about. It's not for the good weeks where you're on point every week. And it's about the times where actually you can go through an old situation with new behaviors. And that's really important, because if you go through an old situation with old behaviors, you don't make change, or you become the person you were. But if you go through an old situation, change the behaviors and get a different outcome, you've become a different person. You've changed your habits. And most people want to change their habits when it's convenient to them. But most people need to look at habits as same situation, different response. So if I come to the summer every year and I gain 5 kilos, I need to change the habit of doing that. So I come to the summer, I don't gain 5 kilos, I do something different, and then I change the habit. So most of it comes down to some variables like that. And the biggest thing to work on is reverse engineering that strategy, that structure, that direction, which can be helped. We can help you. You just drop us a DM at any point, and we can put you in the right direction to be able to do that. But the most important thing for South Asian women who who have kids and have like fleeting lots of priorities during the summer is to not believe that you cannot make progress. Because if you believe that you're not going to make progress for the next 3 months, you will by proxy try less. You'll by proxy not work as hard. You'll by proxy give yourself permission to gain a few kilos. And then your standards drop when you don't believe it's possible. It's called a limiting belief if you've not heard that before. But the people that keep up that belief that they're going to lose weight, they're going to keep on trying, they're going to make progress regardless of what happens every month, every week, every day, they're the people that by proxy end up with better results long-term and short-term as well. So yes, you might not get the 100% results over the summer, but you've had loads of other things on. Like, you're not always going to get the same results every single week, every single month. That's the reality of fat loss. Also, getting in shape is not predictable. It's not predictable every single week. If it was, we'd all be fucking 6-packed up for life, but we're not, because we deal with situations and scenarios where priorities and life is up and down. And that's what makes or breaks fat loss or staying in shape. So keep up that belief that you will be able to do something. And it might be 50% less of maybe April or May, but it's still 50% more of you giving up and not giving a fuck. Because as soon as you, we tend to do this in our brains as well, is we tend to justify our decisions and make our evidence around our decision. So, I have a lot of ladies who say, oh no, but I'll be able to maintain it over the summer. It's much easier to maintain it over the summer. And I don't, I can definitely do it. And I'm like, Linda or Shilpa, you came to me yo-yo dieting for the last 10 years. You haven't been able to keep your weight off for 10 years. This summer is no different. But because people make their decision and they think that it's the right decision. They believe what they're saying to themselves, which sometimes isn't true. That's why I like to use factual data and logic to fight my own head battles, because no one can argue. I can't even argue with logic or data. So don't make the mistake that you'll be fine over the summer, when that will never be the truth. Like, we have a weight management problem, not a weight loss problem. People can't keep their weight off. People keep getting fat again, and that's the problem. So continue to try to continue to put more effort into managing the situations, and down to a T, to-do lists, adaptable routines, making things on the fly, and constantly doing that week in, week out. How do I get those gym sessions in? How do I get those nutrition meals in? How do I get my steps in? And every week it'll be different, and every trial and tribulation you'll have with different priorities and stuff like that. But most important, you will make progress more than you would if you didn't try. And that's the most important part. So if anyone got any questions on how to navigate the summer, I'd really appreciate that. Get them in the live right now. For those that are on podcast, I'm doing a live on Instagram. I got some not so nice comments, so I'll scroll past those ones. I can't cook non-veg in the house, but eat chicken and fish. What to keep them in the diet? How do I go about keeping this when losing weight? I mean, yeah, okie dokie. Literally, that's his name, by the way. Not my terminology. But if you can't have non-veg in the house, that's it, right? Like, you can't have it. You know, I've lived in non-veg houses myself, whether that's in Nairobi or in London, and you just have to make do with it. You just have to eat out. So if you want to have meat and fish, you know, there's 3 options: a takeaway, a restaurant, or a supermarket that have already got pre-cooked stuff already. They're your 3 options. I like the Marks and Spencer's diet, which is basically go to Marks and Spencer's or Sainsbury's or Tesco or Walmart or wherever you are in the world and get the pre-cooked meat already. It's already done, already dusted, already flavored. All you do is grab your salad or grab your carb sauce, and then just have a makeshift meal on the go. If you go into restaurants, it's super easy. You just order the protein sauce and whatever else I'm having on the side. And yes, you might not be able to control the calories as much as weighing it out yourself, but you can manage it based on portion sizes. And it's a good task, right? Until you move out of your house, which is probably a long time away, you're going to be in this situation. And remember that just because you can't eat non-veg food, it doesn't determine your fat loss. Your protein intake doesn't determine how much weight you lose. So if you're not losing weight and you think it's this problem, you're probably wrong. You're eating too much in the whole of the day. So I wouldn't worry. I'd obviously try and get more chicken and fish in if you're eating it, but work on the portion size that you've got, because that's the exact reason to lose weight. The last thing to lose weight, sorry. Pre-cooked frozen meals versus restaurant, which is healthier. Like, that's like saying, who do you want to date, your sister, your dad, or your uncle? Like, not pre-cooked frozen meals versus restaurants, like, which is healthier. They're neither. Like, they're both food. Like, I personally don't subscribe to this thing of like healthy, not healthy. Okay, if your goal is fat loss, you don't need to worry about healthy. Healthy is different to fat loss. What you need to be thinking about is, how do I become calorie controlled? How do I reduce the calories I'm eating in my meals? And if I was looking at that, frozen meals pre-cooked are calorie controlled on a menu with ingredients, and some restaurants are. If you can go to either of those where the calorie is controlled and get something 400 to 500 calorie per meal, you're going to lose weight if you're anything over 70 kilos. And restaurants give you more flexibility, but the goal of a restaurant is to make their food taste nice so that you give them a good rating and come back again, or they get Michelin starred. The things that taste nice are normally not low calorie. So unless it's got calories on the menu, you will have to really learn portion sizes, really learn the art of like cutting out the carbs, or eating less for breakfast so you can have more, like have a main meal in a restaurant. So there's various different things that you have to do to make up for those things. Right, guys, I'm going to go. Hopefully this was useful. South Asian women with kids, keep trying over the summer. It's really important that you keep up the hope, you keep adapting things, you keep making changes, and you do as best as you can do with the place that you are in. And every single week, look and adapt your routine to get as much as you can in. the fight is not over until you give up the fight. And if you give up the fight, well, you're toast. So keep on going, and make sure that you're not looking at the summer as I start in September vibes. It's going to come around next year too. Remember, summer is here next year. Your kids are going to be here next year. Your wedding season is going to be here next year. And if you don't deal with it this year, you have to deal with it next year and then year after that. And it's one of the areas that means that you never ever truly get in shape. If you cannot manage a 3-month period of the year, you're going to be constantly dieting twice a year or 3 times a year to get the weight off that you can't control in other sides. I'd rather you not diet any part of the year. And that comes through learning all 12 months of the year of getting in shape and then staying in shape forever. Have a nice one, guys. And then last one on that is ghee healthy. It does, like, healthy for me is like a word that doesn't really exist. Like, healthy for what? Healthy for my dogs? Probably not. Healthy for me? It can be. But if you're eating ghee or you're using ghee and you're significantly overweight, not really anything is going to be healthy at that point because you're overweight. So you need to focus on getting the overweightness off to be healthy, to then have flexibility with all of these things. Don't talk to me about healthy until you lose the fat that makes you unhealthy. That's my vibe. But on the same time as ghee, would I use it? Do we use it? Yeah, I've just had eggs with ghee on this morning. My missus loves it. She's like a bit of a woo-woo with all the little bits and that, but she's also in amazing shape and she can look at the minor differences of ghee and how that makes it feel versus avocado oil, and she can be there and do that because she's already in amazing shape and she's already got 90% of everything boiled down with her health and fitness. I think if ghee's in your household and you use it regularly within your meals, and you can control the calories within those meals, and you can control the amount that you utilize, I think it can be really useful. I think the texture, what it makes the food wise, is really cool. I think it makes eggs fluffy and really nice. I think it makes it a little bit more creamier for things, which is awesome. But it's a single ingredient. It doesn't make things healthier by having a single ingredient in the rest of your human life. You can't put one thing in that's a food or an ingredient that's going to change your life. You can't. I'm not going to have coffee, and yes, it makes you more energetic, but it doesn't make me more money. It doesn't make me more healthy. It doesn't make my foot grow back if I cut it off. Nothing can solve your problems in one ingredient, and that's why you won't see me saying things like, don't eat that, or you have to have this. You won't see me saying any of that shite because it doesn't exist. What the order of importance is have less body fat, so your body is more healthy, less stressed, less toll on the body, has better heart health, and you ultimately die less. That's the most important part of levels of obesity to get you into health. Once you hit that 23 to 25 BMI range and you're there, that's when you can start worrying about preferences of things that make you feel good, things that make you poo good, make you think good. But ultimately, the biggest tax to the body, the biggest toll to the body is your fat cells and how much weight that you have on you proxy. That's why even bodybuilders that are 300 pounds plus are not healthy people. They're 300 pounds. There's a lot of toll on that body, a lot of toll on that health, a lot of toll on that heart. So, it's a ramble. It can be good, just a teaspoon instead of a tablespoon. And most importantly, if you want to focus on health, focus on getting all of your fat off as much as possible to 23 to 25 BMI before you even chat about, is spinach good or is this good? Follow a calorie controlled diet, eat this traditional food if you want to. If you don't want to, cool, eat sushi or whatever you want to eat, and be calorie controlled. When you then become calorie controlled, you then can drop body fat. When your body fat comes off, you can then become quote unquote healthy in a range. When you become healthy in a range, you can then start learning things that make you feel good, learning things that make you act good, learning things that make you not feel good, and learning things that can improve your life and that you want to have more of, and things that you want to have sparingly of that don't really improve your life, but it's also great socially to have or lifestyle-wise. Like for us, in our house, we do one takeaway a week, bits of shisha, and we have a fine balance, because it's like the shisha takes away from our sleep and sometimes we're tired. But then sometimes it's great to de-stress. So there's always these little things that go in there too. So have a lovely rest of your day and chat soon.